May 18, 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, pursuant to the applicable portions of the New Jersey Public Meetings Law, adequate notice of this meeting has been given. This meeting is posted on the bulletin board located in the corridor of this building and published in the newspaper on November 22, 2019. The teleconference information, along with the information on how to participate in the conference, was transmitted to the newspaper and posted on the Township website on May 13, 2020. And also it appeared in the Asbury Park Press on May 15, 2020. Councilwoman Noonan will offer a prayer and Councilman Burns will lead in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise.
We meet to serve our community, to use our resources wisely and well, to represent all members of our community fairly, to make decisions that promote common good. We recognize our responsibility to the past and the future, and the rights and needs of both individual community. A trusted servant, we seek blessing in our deliberations and efforts here today. May we act wisely. We also like to thank our policemen, first aiders, military, and hope we can get through this pandemic. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
A moment of silence in honor of Memorial Day. Thank you.
I'm going to do a roll call first, and then you can identify. Roll call. Councilman Bacchione.
Here.
Councilwoman Gingrich.
Present.
Councilman Burns.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noonan.
Yes.
Councilman Guadagno.
Here.
Councilman Gross.
I am there, here.
Council President Buccio.
Here?
Okay, you can do a,
Is there anybody else on the call that wants to identify themselves? Or speaking?
Hi, Mayor Amato.
Okay. Mayor Amato, could you speak once again?
The mayor needs to speak again.
Mr. Mayor?
Usually you can't shut him up. Carmen Amato.
Present.
did you get him?
Okay, confirmed he's here.
But he still didn't pick him up, so. Carmen, we need you to speak for a couple minutes.
Hi, my name is Carmen Amato. I've been a resident of Berkeley Township for 50 years.
Okay, we have you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
On motion?
I'd like to make a motion to have Councilman John Bacchione run tonight's meeting. May I have a motion?
No second.
Roll call?
Councilman Bacchione.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gingrich.
Yes.
Councilman Burns.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noonan.
Yes.
Councilman Guadagno.
Yes.
Councilman Gross.
Yes.
Council President Buccio.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item number 4, discussion by administration.
Thank you. First item, letter A, is a refund of a transfer title application fee. There was a $45 fee for Denise Stefanelli, block 9.23, lot 71, and they withdrew the application, so their recommendation is to give a refund of that $45, and it's on the official agenda as item number 8.2. I think the mayor may take item B, or would you like me to do that, Mayor?
John, I'm having trouble bringing up the agenda. Which item is that?
Item B was the cancellation of taxes, 2 of them for 100% disabled veterans. I can give the details.
Yes, this is when this is a state program. As I bring up, whenever we do this, it's 100% disabled veteran who is service-related injury within certain time periods of war. They're entitled to 100% tax exemption. And this is under a state law. it's a program that we support. We think it's a great program. We should do more for our veterans. But however, it's, as I mentioned in this meeting, this is another unfunded state mandate, and we have passed resolutions in the past, along with members of the 9th District has introduced legislation, and hopefully in the near future we can get some legislation passed where the state would reimburse the township for this program. So once again, it's a great program. We support our veterans. However, it's just another unfunded state mandate. Thank you.
And I can give the details. There's two resolutions for two disabled veterans. They're on the official agenda as items number 8.3 and 8.4. The respectively, it's block 4.138, lot 5, and block 973.05, lot 1. Item C is authorizing several refunds in one resolution. It's for canceled recreation programs. This was a senior trip planned for Alaire that needed to be canceled, and there were 13 individuals that had paid a $10 fee, and this resolution will just authorize that refund and those refunds, and it's on the official agenda as item number 8.5.
Item 4D is a shared service with Pine Beach for UCC plan review and inspections. This is a renewal of a shared service agreement with the Borough of Pine Beach for the Construction Code Administration and Enforcement. Same terms as the last one, which is a 4-year term, and that is on the official agenda number 8.6. Item 4E are co-op updates, one for the County of Ocean, one for the State of New Jersey, and one for the Middlesex Regional. These are updates because of expiration dates, and that is on the official agenda number 8.7, 8.8, and 8.9. Item 4F is authorizing the Township of Berkeley, the Township tax collector to prepare and mail estimated tax bills in accordance with Public Laws 1994, Chapter 72. And this is in case the state will not be able to certify budgets for some time. We're not sure as to when. So the resolution authorizes the tax collector to send out estimated tax bills for the third quarter if necessary. And that is on the official agenda number 8.10.
Item G.
And if I could just add, this is, as Fred had mentioned, the state pushed back their deadline for their adoption of their budget. Division of Local Government Services had pushed back certain dates because obviously we all know we're in the middle of a pandemic and we're not sure the revenues there coming to the township. We have concerns that I mentioned at the last meeting. And then, the state is having some fiscal concerns as well, because essentially the entire state is shut down. So this is just making sure that we won't have the final tax bills, hopefully prior to the mailing of the November quarter, that we need to make sure that we have tax collection that comes in. So if we put out the estimated tax bills for the August quarter, at least we'll have ample cash flow come into the municipality, because as you all know, all of our employees are showing up every day, and we appreciate that, and they're all working very hard on behalf of the taxpayers of Berkeley Township, and we want to make sure that we have enough funds to pay our employees, to pay our bills, to pay everything on a timely fashion without having to be held up because of the state moving back the deadlines, and quite frankly, we don't know where we're going to be either. So this just gives us an alternative. We've done this in the past, so it's not something that we haven't done before, but it's just something so we can get an estimated tax bill out to our residents so they can pay the August quarter taxes, so we have cash flow and we're able to pay our employees, pay our bills, and continue to function government. So thank you.
And Mayor, thank you. And also, I don't know if you got a chance to pull up the agenda, but item G is supporting the enactment of the Security After Sandy Act. I can say that it's on the official agenda as item number 8.11, but I thought you may want to speak to it.
Plus, this legislation was introduced, I believe, on Friday from I think Congressman Pallone, Senator Menendez, submitted the bill, and essentially, after Sandy, certain municipalities were eligible for what they call community disaster loans with the CDL loans from FEMA. Berkeley Township, we qualified. We took the entire $5 million, and after the calculation, after moving forward, when we were able to get 3.7 million of the 5 million forgiven, which was outstanding. I want to thank Fred, our auditors, and everybody who assisted in getting that $3.7 million portion of that 5 million forgiven. The balance of 1.3 million has to be paid back to FEMA over the next 5 years. What this legislation does is wipe out the payback provision for the CDL loans. Like Township would not, they have to pay back the entire $5 million, and there's other towns in Ocean County that have to pay back a portion of that loan. And rightfully so. We all knew when we borrowed the money, it was a loan with the hopes that we would be able to show the substantial losses from Sandy to get it forgiven. And we were able to prove that 3.7 million of that to be forgiven. So we got to pay back the 1.3. This specific legislation will forgive the final portion of any type of CDL loan payments, and it also will stop the clawbacks provision because right after Sandy, SBA was giving out loans. The state, through the funding that they got from the Sandy Fund, was giving out grants. So now here we are, 8 years after the storm, and the state and federal government is going through their paperwork and sending homeowners who may have received money to help them get out of, to rebuild or help them pay off their debt or repair their homes, are getting what they call clawback letters, like saying, hey, we sent you, $150,000 after our calculations. We did an audit. We feel we overpaid you by $30,000. Now you have to pay us back $30,000. I know Councilman Burns may want to jump in because I know he, as we all know, Jim Burns lost his house during Superstorm Sandy, and he was intimate with all those programs that are out there. And I know he'll probably want to touch on this. But these are the two components of this bill that's going to hopefully work its way through the federal government and get approved by the president. That'll forgive the remaining CDL loans and also stop the clawbacks on these homes. I don't know, Councilman Burns, you want to jump in on that?
Yeah, there's like the mayor said, there's a joint bill between Chris Smith and Kim. And part of that bill, they're going to forgive the REM loans and forgive also the SBA loans that were considered as duplication of benefits. So I was hoping it was going to be part of this stimulus money, so maybe it will be. But give them a call. I know I'm bugging the hell out of them. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, if I may, likewise, letter H is a resolution supporting Senate Bill number 2475 and Assembly Bill number 3971. And this is New Jersey legislation that would authorize the issuance of coronavirus relief bonds by municipalities and counties. That resolution is on the official agenda as item number 8.12, but I believe the mayor might want to say a few words on that as well.
Thank you, Administrator. This is legislation that's going to be hopefully working through the state legislature, through the Assembly and the Senate, and ultimately signed by the governor. This gives the municipalities the option, in case the losses on the coronavirus, COVID-19, our revenue losses are so great, and the state doesn't have any funding for us, and if the federal government doesn't send the counties and the municipalities money, this gives the municipality an option to bond for the shortfall to get us through until 2021, so we can limit any potential tax impact as a result of the COVID-19 crisis. Because, and Fred can elaborate, there's a line item in our budget called the Reserve for Uncollected Taxes. This line item is kind of like a balance fund to offset the reduction in tax collection. Right now, the county and both school districts, the Board of Health, the library, they base their amount to be raised by taxation at 100% tax collection. If the municipality, if we're only collecting 98, 97, 96% of property taxes, obviously there's going to be a shortfall to pay other taxing agencies, including the municipality. So by law, we have to have a line item in our budget, the reserve for uncollected taxes, meaning, let's just say for discussion, and 94% of our taxpayers, our homeowners, are paying their taxes, and 6%, for whatever reason, are not paying the property taxes. That 6% shortfall has to be made up by the other 94% of the residents that are paying it. That's why they call it the Reserve for Uncollected Taxes. So we anticipate our Reserve for Uncollected Taxes going up, and this has no control. It's not an item that can be controlled by the municipality. It's by the availability of property taxpayers to pay. So we anticipate our tax collection to go down based on the COVID-19 pandemic. So we're going to have to make up that money, and our line item in the budget is a Reserve for Uncollected Taxes. So circling back to this legislation, if this legislation is approved, we'll be able to bond money to help make the shortfalls so we can keep the tax impact as minimum to our property taxpayers. Thank you.
Item 4I is authorizing the Township's participation in Bergen County's Cooperative Purchasing Program. This is similar to the the updates that I just read, that we are involved with the county, the state, Middlesex Regional, Somerset County. This is just another co-op. The police have actually requested that we join this one as well to purchase surveillance equipment, so we can get a better price without having to go out to bid. And that is on the official agenda, number 8.13.
Thanks, Fred. Item J is authorizing the refund of a picnic fee. It was a $100 fee that was paid, and obviously the picnic could not take place. So the resolution authorizing that refund is on the official agenda as item number 8.14. And lastly, item K is an outdoor cafe application for Bum Rogers, 23rd and Central Avenue, South Seaside Park. I know several members of the governing body have gone over and looked at the situation. As you know, this was a new program that was started last year, and I believe last year was the first and only applicant was Ebby's Restaurant over in South Seaside Park also. That seemed to be helpful to the business and worked out well. This one, just to start the conversation, I went and looked at it myself also. He's asking for essentially 6 tables along Route 35. There'd be 3 on each side of the doorway. And those 6 tables would be against the building on what I would call the inside of the sidewalk, leaving the entire width of the sidewalk and the space between the sidewalk and the curb open for travel. On the other side, along 23rd Avenue, he's asking for another 6 tables. Those tables would be a little different in that they would be on the outside of the sidewalk. Sidewalk would still be kept completely free, but between the sidewalk and the curb, there's about 10 feet of white stone right now that, like I said, most people are familiar with, and he would have tables along there. Pros and cons, just to throw it out there, I would say that, this year in particular is a good year if the governing body feels comfortable to try and help out any restaurants, because it seems certain that outside dining may proceed or be allowed, I should say, prior to inside dining even being allowed. And even if it's all allowed at once, there's no question that the inside dining is going to be severely limited because of occupancy restrictions. So having some additional seating outside could be very beneficial through a business. But on the con side, I feel like I would be negligent if I didn't remind everyone that when Bum Rogers was operating outside seating a couple years back, and prior to them erecting fencing and other changes that made it more sound protected, there were numerous complaints from neighbors about the outside dining. So, like I said, I'd be remiss if not to mention that, you guys should debate it. You have to decide, the council, what they want to do. But if you do allow it, I think there's a good chance that some neighbors would be upset that now there's people eating and drinking outside, particularly along 23rd. So I think that's a good intro, and I'm here for any questions, obviously. Thank you.
Do any of the council members have any questions for the
Through the
administrator?
chair, John,
Yeah, I also, go ahead.
and then we're
Councilman
going to need a motion on this, right?
Yeah, we
All
will.
right. First of all, when the governor says that restaurants can open with only outdoor seating, we want to help him at that point. And then if the governor says that you can open up as 50% of your seating total, so this will help Bum Rogers out at that point. I've been going around town. If you see, C&G has got outdoor tables now on their property. Even Diesel's has got a little table out there. But and the other thing that the governor put out, that you could take out a drink, from a bar. Where are you going to take it but into your car and drive with a drink in your hand? I couldn't figure that one out. But on 23rd, where they want to put tables, there was a resolution from the Board of Adjustments that there would be no tables out there. So I would think the tables along 23rd should be temporary as long as this pandemic and whatever the governor comes up with, and they apply to the Board of Adjustments to have that resolution changed to the outdoor. But I frequented the place last year late in the evening, and the noise was no problem. They've actually been a real good neighbor over there, and give it a shot. And if it's temporary, through this pandemic, we're going to help the guys out just like anybody else. All right? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Burns. Councilwoman
Oh, I'm
Noonan?
sorry. Yes, through the chair. My only question to the administrator, was it clear that he would not have any music or anything loud because of the sound, just simply eating, nothing being piped outside? Is that kind of understood? That would be an issue for the neighbors already.
Yes, I don't believe there was any application to put any music or entertainment out there, and certainly as part of your approval, we would make that clear.
Yeah, because I went over and I saw where he was putting the tables in the front, and there was plenty of room. I went over there myself, and I think other council people went. Yeah, I didn't see a problem at all. Thank you.
Any other council members have any questions?
Yes, I do. Sophia here.
Councilwoman Guadagno?
Didn't we approve of his seating
Gingrich.
arrangement outside? Then they put that nice fencing up. Are they still doing it the same way?
That's okay. So a real quick recap. At some point, they had outside dining in the back patio area, I'd call it, and it was not fenced in, and there were complaints. Then they ultimately went to the Board of Adjustment, and they got approvals for that outside dining and the sort of garage building that's another service bar out there. And at the same time, they put up some nice soundproofing fencing and visual blocks and more plantings. And that's what I think Councilman Burns was referring to. So they have been operating without complaints with outside dining, but that outside dining has been within the fenced-in area. This would be outside of that.
Okay, I thought it was done really nice, and we all approved it, so why are we questioning it again? Does he have to do this every year?
No, that's why maybe I'm not being clear. So what was approved by the Board of Adjustment that he's been doing that you do not have to act on again is his ability to use his back patio, which is enclosed within a fence. The current application would only be for a 1 year application, which is part of our outdoor dining ordinance that had been done that allows for a restaurant to apply to the governing body for 1 year at a time to have a permit where they would actually put tables out in the public right of way, the way a lot of like outdoor cafes are set up. So this is different in that this is not what he already has approved, which is outside dining on his own property in the patio. This is tables outside in the front and side of the building.
Okay.
Anyone else? Any other
Through the
councilman?
chair. Yeah, John Gross.
Councilman Gross? Yes.
All right, my first question was if this was temporary, and the business administrator just answered that for the season. Someone before had stated that the neighbors might not be too happy with this. Everything seems pretty positive. Am I missing something? Is there something negative to this?
No, I just felt like I needed to remind everyone that there had been some complaints from the neighbors when there was outside drinking and eating in the patio prior to the fencing being up, and that now there would be tables outside along 23rd Avenue that are not fenced in, that would be along the space between the sidewalk and the curb. And so I don't know that there will be complaints or that there will be any problem. I just felt it'd be remiss if I didn't reference the old issues.
Sophia here again.
Hang on.
Sophia
Hang
here
on.
again.
Councilman Gross?
Wouldn't that be a dangerous situation to put tables on that sidewalk on the street side?
Along Route 35, like the front of the building, the tables would be up against the building within the space on the inside of the sidewalk. So they would not be out where there's traffic.
Okay, I understand.
On 23rd, they would be out on the other side, but there's a really lot of room there. There's at least 10 feet wide of stone. So,
Councilman Gross?
Thank you.
Councilman Gross?
Bacchio, it's Council President Bushio. I just want everyone to know that I went out to the site yesterday, and I took my time and I walked the property with the owner, and he pointed out to me what he's looking to do. I also had the diagrams with me, and I think it's a very reasonable request, especially considering the restrictions that they're going to have with post COVID-19. And I do like the fact that it's only 1 year because if there are any issues, complaints from residents, then we don't have to renew it again next year. But I think it's very reasonable, and I don't have a problem with the way it was submitted. Thank you.
Okay.
If everybody's done, I'll make a motion that.
Hang on, I got a question.
Oh, go ahead.
Anyone else before I ask my question? Okay. So the Board of Adjustments approved this structure, the way it's set up with the permanent fixtures like the fence, et cetera. Does any of those fixtures have to be moved or rearranged to accommodate these tables?
no, these would just be tables added to the outside, and all the rest would stay as it was approved.
Okay, so Councilman Burns mentioned earlier, and I happen to agree, that this was approved based on the fact that we're going to be no tables on the 23rd Street side. So I think it's something that we should consider going back to the Board of Adjustments to make sure that they render that decision on whether or not that they should rescind their original mandate that there be no tables there. Anybody else want to chime in on that?
I think you're both in agreement, and if I heard it right, the idea that the applicant would make an appeal to the board to change that, I think is a good idea, but I believe that your approval can still be a valid approval regardless of when and if he ends up going back to the board. What I'm saying is I don't believe he has to wait to get that Board of Adjustment approval before he can start using it. Anytime you do an outside dining approval into the public right-of-way. They were never part of any restaurant's site plan or other type of approvals that they got from any board. So you're always kind of stepping outside of that. In this one, I think the way Councilman Burns said, because it specifically said that there'd be no tables over there, it is a good idea for them to go. But anytime you authorize the outside cafe approval, you are giving somebody the authority to do something that's outside of their normal board approval.
Yeah, I'm only saying it because the terms and conditions were agreed upon by both sides. Bum Rogers and the Board of Adjustments. To change that and have the council intercede and say, oh, you know what, the Board of Adjustments, we're going to change it without their consideration, I don't think is the way to go. I think we should consider what the Board of Adjustments have to say about the tables, and of course, engineering to see if they meet the standards that were put forth by the Board of Adjustments for the distances, for the sidewalk. I wasn't there, I didn't see it. I don't know exactly if, I'll go with President Bushio's recommendation, but I'm not one who physically have been there to see this, but I will be. I'm just, don't think we should circumvent what the Board of Adjustments have said and just go ahead and say, yeah, go ahead, put the tables there, without asking them first, is what I'm saying.
And
Well,
to that
I'm
point,
sorry,
I think you got, I'm sorry, Lauren, go ahead.
This is Lauren. Yeah, I'm sorry. My suggestion would be, because I do understand that there is a concern, and obviously there's had numerous council meetings where this has been brought up, and then of course it was brought before the zoning board. So perhaps, as was suggested, if they do want to move forward with some sort of approval, it could be an approval at this point, not including the tables that are on that side. And then a question, it can be presented to the zoning board attorney, a question about those other tables, and see if they want to chime in. The one thing to understand is if they do resubmit to the board, then it becomes a more permanent.
Through the chair.
Than if they were to just do this. This is, a shorter term. It's just for the summer months, essentially.
Through the chair.
Go ahead, Councilman Burns.
How about if we make a permanent motion for Central Avenue and then make a separate motion for the tables out on 23rd, that they're temporary until they go to the Board of Adjustments. I did talk to some of the Board of Adjustments.
The
It's all temporary.
is always temporary. It's only a 1-year approval. So it is temporary no matter what.
Well, 23rd is more temporary because,
Extra temporary.
yes, it's not for the full year unless the Board of Adjustments allows it.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh, I'm sorry.
hang on.
Well, it's
Lauren, hang on one second. Councilwoman
I want to go back,
Newman.
sure.
the tables that go in the front, would they need to go back to the Board of Adjustment, the ones in the
No.
front? Because I would like to at least see him get the ones
Well,
in
that's
the
what
front.
he's saying, yeah.
Yeah, get that done soon, because
about 35.
the season is coming right now. I know, but I mean, if there's any, and how long would it take to go to the Board of Adjustment?
2 months.
So Lauren, if you heard that, the suggestion is what you're making, that we somehow approve the Route 35 tables and 23rd Avenue word it differently? Is that possible?
Through the chair, if I could.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think my suggestion would be, it's just rather, because I think I heard that there would be 2 different motions or be considered separately. I don't think you need to do that. I think it could be in one motion. But if you wanted to make it so that I don't think that what you want to do is say one part is temporary, one part isn't, because it's all temporary. You can say that there is an approval for everything that is not on the 23rd, and that 23rd you will reconsider after conferring with the zoning board attorney.
So
That would be my suggestion.
okay, so approve the tables on 35 pending approval from the zoning board for tables on 23rd.
Again, I hate to nitpick, but through the chair, I want to make sure you guys understand and you're doing what you want. So approval by the board is very different than what I thought I heard Lauren saying, which is just getting an opinion from the board attorney. Approval by the board, will mean, could be 2 months before they get in front of the board. And I don't know that the board would ever give, or that you would even want the board to be considering permanent tables out there. There's the board, I'm not aware of a board of adjustment giving any approval for a temporary use of space for something, or B, giving approval for use of township space. This is not their property. I just don't see how an application to the board makes sense if what you want is to let them possibly operate this season with these tables. So I thought Lauren was saying that you would approve it if that's what the route you want to go, and then she would, I guess, reach out to the board attorney. Well, first of all, is that what you're saying, Lauren, that you would get an opinion from the board attorney, or have them make an application to go back to the board of adjustment for these tables?
I think at this point, I would just be fine with an opinion from the board attorney. I think for them to go for a full hearing and application, you're looking at making it permanent at that point, and I don't believe that that's what we want. You just want to have him chime in to say, because from what I'm gathering, you just want somebody to say, you know what, this is temporary. We did say in our resolution of approval but this is different from what we were considering, on a year-to-year basis, it being reviewed yearly, this is okay. Or he turns around and says, no, this isn't okay because of X, Y, and Z. You have more in front of you to consider.
And that's what I thought you were saying. So I believe if they want to make a motion to approve it and they want to go that way, it would be the tables on 23rd would be contingent on this opinion. Like you don't want the governing body to have to come back again a month from now to vote again. Couldn't they do a resolution that says we're approving it if that's what they want to do, but that the tables along 23rd are going to either be allowed or not be allowed when they get an opinion from the board attorney, and they're going to do it based on that opinion.
Yes.
Let me just interject here. The sidewalk cafe permit is just a permit for them to do that. We don't do a resolution, we issue a permit. So I need to know how we're going.
So then it would be the issue. So it's a vote contingent upon that. So we would advise them in a letter that they're receiving a permit for a portion, and we are waiting on an opinion from the zoning board attorney for the other portion. So essentially, you could do two permits at some point in time if that second part was approved.
Okay.
Through the chair.
Go ahead, Councilman Burns.
I can't support that just going through the board attorney. I think it should go back to the entire board. That was kind of a long, drawn-out meeting, and it was specified there would be no more tables out there. Actually, they redesigned the sidewalk. It was going to be a little curved one. They redesigned it, but the only way I would go with tables out on 23rd is because of this COVID-19 thing, that it's the right thing to do for them. But I think, we should give them the full use of the Central Avenue and temporary use for the tables on 23rd, and they have to go to the Board of Adjustments for approval as soon as possible.
If I could, just for a point of clarification, then, do you mean that if you approve it, that then they can have the tables there and can keep them there as long as they make an application to the board?
Yes.
Or okay, so that's different. So as long as what Councilman Burns, I believe, then is suggesting is that they have to file an application to keep the tables on 23rd, but you are not saying they have to wait till they are heard and have an approval before they can put the tables on 23rd.
Yeah, I agree with the temporary president here that, we don't want to overstep the Board of Adjustments. They made a point of it, and, let's go and do the best for bums as we can to give them the most tables.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other council comments, remarks, questions? Hearing none, we're going to need a motion.
John, I'll make that in the form of a motion.
Councilman Burns, Judy seconds. Can we get a roll call?
Councilman Bacchione.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gingrich.
Yes.
Councilman Burns.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noonan. Yes. Councilman Godano.
Yes.
Councilman Gross.
Yes.
Council President Bushio.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Item
Okay,
5, comments from the mayor.
That's all right. Mr. Mayor, you're on.
All right, thank you, everyone. Just to give a couple updates, the council may remember that we approved a resolution seeking Senator Menendez, the Democrat from New Jersey, and Senator Bill Cassidy from Louisiana drafted some legislation called the SMART Act, which is the State and Municipal Assistance for Recovery and Transition. It was a $500 billion emergency funding for state, county, and local governments.
Hang on, Mr.
Can
Mayor.
everybody put their foot on mute when you're not talking?
Yeah, hang on.
There's a lot of feedback.
It's static here at the council chambers.
Okay.
Bob is on it
So
right now.
essentially, we had passed a resolution asking Senators Menendez and Cassidy to amend the SMART Act legislation because they had that population threshold in there for the counties and municipalities of 50,000. They did revise the legislation, and now that the SMART Fund would provide that would not impose a population threshold for counties and municipalities to receive direct funding. As a result, every county and municipality in the country would receive direct funding. This funding can be used to make up for lost revenues and operational expenses related to the COVID-19. And the formula is essentially out of the $500 billion, $16 billion will be set aside. So, this is good news because, we were concerned because if you remember under the first tranche of funding, the CARES Act, they had a 50,000 threshold in there for counties and municipalities, and we did not qualify for any funding for COVID-19 under the CARES Act. But under this legislation, legislation that was introduced, I believe it was, let me see here, it was Friday, which would be very beneficial to our township. So that was good news. I received some correspondence today from his office. The second thing is I want to bring up is everyone knows that when the state and the county shut down their parks, other towns, neighboring towns, Toms River, Manchester, Bricktown, all closed their parks at the same time. We never closed our parks or our beaches for that matter. Our parks always remained open for passive recreation. Obviously we closed down for safety reasons. Our bathrooms, playground equipment, and fields and courts were all closed, but our parks were open for passive recreation for walking, jogging, running, whatever people wanted to do. As of this Saturday, not only were our parks open, but I fully opened all of our parks this past Saturday. Our playgrounds, tennis courts, athletic fields, restrooms are all open and ready for everyone to start enjoying. Obviously, they have to adhere to the governor's executive orders. There can't be any gathering more than 10 individuals. Tennis can only be for singles, not doubles. The basketball courts are open for people just to shoot baskets, no organized sports. And our athletic fields are open, however, they're not open for team organizations or for practice or for games. They're open for residents that want to go out there and kick a soccer ball around with the family or friends, or they want to have a catch on the softball field, or they want to do batting practice. But organized sports are prohibited as per the governor's executive order. Obviously, our bathrooms and playground equipment will be sanitized on a regular basis. And, if residents want to use them, that's up to them. Obviously, social distancing must be adhered to. So we're excited about this. Our beaches were never closed either. So we've had a lot of people on our beaches over in South Seaside Park. That's 20th Avenue to 23rd Avenue. And I know Councilman Gadagno will touch on some other aspects of the beaches. So, I thought it was very important that we open. I've been getting emails, text messages, phone calls on a regular basis that people just want to go out, they want to get out of their house. The weather's starting to get nice, so we want to make sure our amenities are available for our residents. And so far, knock on wood, everybody's been practicing social distancing and not abusing the privilege. So we're happy about that. Give an update. I just want to take this opportunity for those residents that are listening, that we appreciate everybody doing their part to help flatten the curve. As of today, our new numbers are, we have 549 residents that have confirmed cases of COVID-19. Sadly, 74 of those residents has passed away. Now, our long-term care facilities, which we have in Berkeley Township, out of the 549 confirmed cases, 210 of those are coming out of our long-term care facilities. And out of the 74 precious souls who passed away, 32 of those came out of our long-term care facilities. So I know the chief is on the line. We have had some concerns. I'm not going to name facilities, but there were some concerns of some of our first aid squads. And we did bring this to the attention of the County Board of Health and also the state of New Jersey. And there was a conference call made to bring state officials aware of the concerns of our police and our emergency services. So we're hopeful that that little information that we passed on with our concerns got the state to kick it a little bit into high gear, and is paying a little bit more attention now to the long-term care facilities. As we had a special council meeting, we did extend the second quarter property tax payment, additional 20 days to June 1st. I was advised by the tax collector today that there's still about 3,400 residents who haven't paid their property taxes yet, which is fine. They have until June 1st to do that. So the majority of our residents did pay the May 1st quarterly property tax payment. So we're appreciative of that. Town Hall obviously is still closed to the general public. However, the administrator will be sending along a memo to our different departments. We are going to start transitioning to open our buildings back up to the general public. And we're looking to do this the first week of June, either on June 1st or June 8th. We are currently going to be working with Steve Seiler and of course Gerd and Fred and John to make our buildings COVID-19 ready. We're going to, those departments that do not have windows, we're going to be installing windows. Employees have been issued PPE, gloves, masks. We're going to mark out floors to make sure that there's social distancing. And we're probably going to allow 50% capacity in the beginning of residents in and out of Town Hall, which we never really have that many that come at one time. It's usually a pretty good ebb and flow. So we're going to take all the necessary precautions. But, the time has come that we need to start operating and getting things back to normal. So we're looking to do that either June 1st or June 8th will be the official opening within the Township municipal building and also our recreation department. Thanks to the help of Kim Gadagno from Fulfill, we had 2 food distribution crisis kits. We have another crisis kit distribution this week. It will be this Thursday, this Thursday the 21st, 12 noon to 1:30, to distribution sites, the Berkeley Township Recreation Department, and also how the City of Berkeley Clubhouse 1 parking lot. I want to thank Councilwoman Sophia Gingrich and her volunteers for holding down the fort over at Holiday City, Berkeley. And, of course, all of our volunteers, Councilman Burns, Becky Elm, Gross, have all been out there helping as well. And, it's been working out well. The phone calls have been coming in steady. I want to thank our senior communities who have been doing robocalls to their members, who getting the word out there that those residents who have fallen on hard times, that need a helping hand. We are here. We also want to take this opportunity to thank the Berkeley Township PBA, local businesses, Concadora, Shady Rest, Diesel Subs and Wraps, Jim Giffinello and the Berkeley Boys, and Berkeley Township Republican Organization, and a lot of just civic-minded community members, Joe Maluski, his mom, and a lot of other residents. There's a whole list who have been dropping off gift cards to local restaurants, to ShopRite, that we've been handing out our distribution sites. It's been great. So those of residents out there that are in need, we're available this Thursday. Please call our Recreation Center at 732-269-4456. And then we'll make sure we put you on the list. If you're don't have a transportation or you're homebound, we do deliveries. Obviously, all of our volunteers have PPE, masks, and gloves. There's no contact. The people who are driving up, all they do is just open their trunk, and we put the crisis boxes or crisis food in the trunks. And those who are delivering, they just drop it off at the doorstep and leave it there. So there's no contact, and it's been working out well. And we're also going to do this one more time in June, and hopefully the state will start gradually opening up, and we'll do it as long as we can. Thanks once again to Fulfill. And I want to thank our residents. A lot of our residents have been making direct donations to Fulfill. And I want to thank John McGinnis and Brian Gingrich from the Veterans and Friends of Holiday City of Berkeley. They made a nice donation to Fulfill, which is going to create to keep the crisis boxes going for our residents. So it's very humbling. But we're going to continue to do it for as long as we can. Recently, I do get a lot of calls and emails of the backlogs and the unemployment. From what I understand, the last count, there was 1.2 million New Jersey residents have filed for unemployment since the second week in March. They are getting through the backlog. They're doing the best they can to get through it. Unfortunately, the state kind of needed to upgrade their information, needed to upgrade their infrastructure, but they, obviously something of this magnitude, that's obviously unacceptable. Many residents have been gone 6, 7, 8 weeks without any type of money to pay their rent or food, and the state needs to step up their game and improve this infrastructure. So God forbid this ever happens again. Thankfully, some money is starting to flow through, but there's a lot of our residents that are out there. So we're doing everything that we can. We're providing obviously the crisis boxes of food, providing gift cards to those, and of course we extended the quarterly tax payment as well. 2 more quick things. One is, kind of fell off the wayside a little bit because COVID-19 just showed up with the pandemic. But since the beginning of the year, I know Councilwoman Noonan through her coalition of community leaders in the senior community, and we've been putting it out in our messages in the Berkeley Times and our Facebook page. It's very, 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 very important that everybody files their 2020 census form. 2020 census form is critical in how the federal government allocates the funding to the state and to the counties and to the municipalities. And we need to have everybody counted. Back in 2010, the last census, our final Berkeley Township response rate was 74.1. So, almost 25% of our residents, full-time residents, failed to file census forms. So we need to do it this time because we need to be counted. I'm happy to date, Berkeley Township has the second highest response rate in Ocean County of the census. We're about 69.2% response rate. So we're about 5 percentage points off of our 2010 numbers, but we really need to step it up because we really need to get those numbers up there because the census of 2010 has our municipality at about 42,000. But I know when all the census numbers come in, if we get everybody to file, these census numbers will be close to 47 to 50,000 residents. So it's really critical that we get everybody to fill out their census forms. And then just lastly, I mentioned this at the last meeting, I just want to thank everybody who is contributing during this pandemic. Obviously doctors, nurses, hospital staff, of course our EMS, police, fire, all the contractors that are out there working, restaurants, food stores, employees, utility workers, pharmacies, delivery services, food banks, financial institutions, clergy, volunteers, our donors, educators, support staff, truck drivers, and of course all of our hardworking, dedicated public works and public employees are all pulling their share for our country during these unprecedented times. So you can't thank everybody who's on the front line enough, and that's about it. I think it's time to come up for air. Once again, I want to thank the council for the opportunity to give some comments, and all this information will be put out on our Facebook page and our website over the next few days. So that's all I have. I will reserve judgment because I'm sure there's about 4 or 5 things I probably failed to mention, but let the council have an opportunity to speak, and if anything comes to mind, I'll just briefly bring it up because it's very important information. So thank you again, and I'll be here.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Comments from the council. I'm just going to follow the order that we usually go in, and I seem to be first. The Finance Committee did not meet again this month, but I did have conversations with our CFO, Fred Ebenau, and he assures me that things are moving along as expected financially. We pushed as we all know, the due date for the property taxes out to the end of the month, which is good for all the residents who are unfortunately finding hard times during this pandemic financially. The town still has a AA- bond rating, which is great. Well, I'll have more to report about the Finance Committee at next month's meeting. I do want to concur with what the mayor has said about the officials and the private sector, people who are still working out there. They keep the country moving, even though we have a big slowdown here around the world globally. It seems like this part of the country here in the United States, from Connecticut to New York and New Jersey, seem to be the highest impacted population for this COVID-19 virus. I just want to make sure everybody stays safe and cautious in their day in and day out activities. That's all I have to say. So I'll ask Councilwoman Gingrich if she has any comments to make.
Good evening, everyone. Sophia Gingrich here. I just wanted to add, the mayor mentioned that on Thursday we're having the crisis food delivery to the people that are in need. And on Friday, we're having our regular scheduled food bank. So we're going to have it 2 days in a row, back to back. And other than that, I don't have anything except everyone please continue to do what you have to do. Stay safe and practice safe distance from everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Gingrich. Councilman Burns?
Just real quick, I'd like to thank the mayor and the administration for a common sense approach to this whole problem. Our town, really got out, and they could get out there and walk the parks and whatever. Also, the buy local. People go to Moore's every day. They go to Diesel, C&G. So buy local is really working. It's keeping these people going. Shady Rest and all the above. Last night I did go up to the Point Pleasant Canal there at the boardwalk. Point Pleasant, no parking on any street. Up at the inlet, they let you park every other spot, but you can't get out of the car. The police are on bullhorns telling you to get back in the car. Spring Lake, no parking on any street, even up by the ocean. It's like a damn police state. They got a little carried away there. Also, I was out with Alan looking at some of the projects. We're going to do a little dog park, very inexpensive there, just a fence and clean it up. But they have been doing a lot of dead-end streets. We need to go over the signage, see what ordinances we have for the end of the streets for signage. Also, the bulk pickup. I talked to the mayor today. People are coming down for the weekend. You come there today, you see mattresses out on the front lawns, TVs, whatever, couches. Bulk pickup, we have our regular bulk pickup schedule. So talking with the mayor, these people, we should do a courtesy pickup and then give them a letter like the mayor had said and say, look, we do our bulk pickups here. You do it again, you're going to be fined. But talking to Myers, one of our supervisors, they just can't do it. They don't have the trucks. We used to be able to go around, willy-nilly and pick up the bulk, but we can't do it anymore. Also, we had a public works meeting, and, we do have some trucks that need maintenance, and every year we've seemed to be buying two new trucks, a robo truck and a backloader. I think we have to meet again and come up with a vehicle maintenance software where that, we can make sure that these trucks are maintained. Some of them say they're not changing the oils and this and that, but they need to keep the trucks up a little bit better. One more thing. I talked to the VA today in East Orange, and I talked to Meridian. They have no meetings scheduled for the negotiations for Meridian Hackensack to bring the VA into their network. What this means is our veterans cannot go to Southern Ocean County, Brick Hospital, Jersey Shore, or any other Meridian Hackensack with the VA. So if you're scheduled for surgery at any one of those hospitals, they'll tell you to go to community or Monmouth Medical, and you have to have a doctor that's in those places. So I don't know, with Memorial Day coming, I did tell Meridian that I was going to form a little protest this weekend for Memorial Day, but people don't know it. They don't know that our veterans can't come, to the 3 better hospitals in the area. So tell your friends. I'm going to put it on Facebook and try to get it out, but I gave them 2 weeks to kind of get things rolling, and I did talk to Congressman Smith and Kim, but I think it's time now to blow it out of the water. They're sitting back. The VA gave the contract to United Healthcare, and they're failing to negotiate with the Meridian Hackensack. So.
To the chair, Jim, what reason do they give you do they give you a reason why they won't negotiate?
Yeah, because if you heard the president today, they fit prices. So the veteran, like myself, I'll go in there with Medicare, and then that 20% in the other will be paid through the VA with the VA's insurance. But the VA, now it's not in network. It's just like you know, if you're a policeman, you get the list of network. Right. But, you know, I'd like to know how many veterans have died not being able to go into those hospitals. So I'm going to blow it out of the water this week. So if everybody else can kind of join in, it's kind of, if we did a resolution by the time they got it, but there's no meeting schedule, and this has been going on since last year. So it's sick. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Burns. Councilwoman Noonan?
Yes, thank you. I have a couple of things. On a lighter note, I want to thank, we went over to we had the pass with the firemen, the policemen, and the sheriff. We went past the nursing home, which was fun, which was nice, and they came out. I thought that was interesting. One quick question. On the senior badges, where do the people get them now? If they don't want a permanent one, they just want a senior badge. Can they get them online? They don't want to get a picture, they just want it for the season, a senior badge.
Yes, they can
Somebody
always
asked me
get the regular senior badge for $10. It's good for the season.
Where do they get it?
Or they can, actually, I'm not sure if they can do those online or have to go starting this weekend when we're actually at the beach, I guess.
That's what I told them, they're gonna
Yeah.
be out at the beach? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Well, I have, maybe the mayor can answer this question. A while back, there was some problems at Crystal Lake Nursing Home, and I have a constituent whose niece is there. And here's the question, they talk about all these nursing homes being tested. Her niece, who's only in her 40s, happens to be in there for whatever reasons, and her roommate was taken out with the virus. Who is checking on these people? Are these people being brought back? She came back. What is the issue over there? Because there, as you know, there was like 20 that had passed away. Is the state gone back in there to look? 'Cause she really has questions about this, and she goes over there regularly to see her niece. She can't get in, but people are leaving. And she would like to know, are these people being tested? Are the people coming back with the virus? Is the state, because I knew the state was supposed to go in there. Did the state go in there? What's the follow-up? And I don't know if the mayor or you can check on that, because she can't really get too many answers. She said the people are nice, but the outside, and what's going on? But the roommate said the person had the virus and they came back. So that's a kind of a question. And I don't know if the chief is online. Over by Manitou, on 2nd Avenue for the firemen, they have a constant problem with parking. They need to, I don't know if I have to go to traffic for that to get a no parking sign. They have to constantly call the police because they can't bring their trucks out. They can't turn around. A car always parks. I don't know. They brought it up again today. The cops are out there every other time they have to take a truck out. So I don't know how that's handled. But other than that, I want to thank everybody who has been helping with the food banks and giving out the food. It's a really good thing. Sophia, Councilman Gingrich does a fabulous job over there. I hope that this pandemic ends soon, so we can all get back to normal. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Noonan.
I'd like an answer about that.
Yeah.
Do you have any information? Mayor, do you have anything on that?
Mr. Mayor?
I'm sorry, Judy, you were breaking up. I couldn't hear.
I was talking about Crystal Lake. Do you have any update on Crystal Lake Nursing Home?
The numbers out of there?
Did the state come back and check on that? Because I have a constituent that has a niece in there, and people are brought back in with the virus. I remember the people that had died, and there was a statement supposed to
Yes,
go.
that was brought up. That was brought up today at the press conference.
Oh, was it? Thank you.
There was a reporter that asked the commissioner that the COVID-19 individuals who are hospitalized are being sent back with COVID-19 to their home, and what she said. You can go online and rewatch the 1 o'clock press conference, but essentially she says, that's their home. That's where they go, as long as there's proper PPE available for the patient coming back, and that they can be quarantined. They're allowing them to go back.
But is the state testing? All he talked about was the seniors, everybody being tested in the nursing homes and along care. I mean, our senior communities have been testing, Howdy City Berkeley, Howdy City South. I hope that this is all going to Trenton. But here's my point. Are they testing these people in Crystal Lake?
Yeah, as far as I know. And then, as you mentioned, there's Holiday City South, Holiday City at Berkeley, and I believe Holiday City Carefree have all associations, are all contracted with testing companies that are coming in to test their residents. And then don't forget, Rite Aid on 31 Mule Road is also a testing site as well. You just have to register online, RiteAid.com, answer a short questionnaire, and then you could be tested, and they're not charging for any of the testing because it's all state, it's all being reimbursed by the federal government. In fact, I get the weekly numbers from Rite Aid, and then just last week they tested about 1,200 of our residents at the Rite Aid site. So I know the associations have also contracted. So they're supposed to once the results come back, they're also supposed to go to the Board of Health. And if I might add, just to interject, and John can jump in, we also, the town contracted with a company to come in and test all of our employees that was voluntary, and any of our employees that wanted to be tested for COVID-19. They were able to be tested. We had a company come in, and John, I don't remember what the final number was tested, but I know nobody came back. Those that were tested, nobody came back with COVID-19.
That's correct. I'm not sure on the total number, but it was put out to all the employees to have the option of going for a test that they did on 2 occasions, actually, because the first one was successful, and then they had them back again. And as you said, there were no positive cases.
Just one comment through the chair. The tests that were done at the senior communities, I talked to the Board of Health. They said they don't get the results. These companies send them straight to the state. That's what I was told. So I don't know if we ever get a total of how many people. Thank you, Mayor.
They're supposed to, according to the Commissioner of Health, any private testing, those numbers are supposed to be reported. So we'll have to follow up on that, John.
Yeah, maybe how many, but not the results.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman Noonan. Councilman Guadagno?
Thanks, Councilman Pacquiao. First, I'd like to mention that our pre-season beach badge sale will continue to May 31st. You can purchase the beach badges online at the Berkeley Rec webpage. The pre-season price is $35. After May 31st, the price goes up to $50. So far up to date, we have sold 1,800 badges. Last year, in 2019, our preseason badges, we sold around 2,000. So we're kind of on the same pace as we are last year, so that's good news. And in 2019, we sold a total of 2,200 beach badges. So I think we're going to end up right around that area again for this year. But again, if anybody wants to save the discount, the extra $15, you have about a week or so left to do that up until May 31st. Second, we have some good news about our farmers markets. We were able to talk with Island Beach State Park today, and we're going to be able to open that market on time. The Bayville Market on Route 9 at the Rec Center, it's going to be every Tuesday from 10 to 5 again, starting May 26th. So the day after Memorial Day, that Tuesday, our Berkeley Township Farmers Market on Route 9 will be open. Our South Seaside Beach Farmers Market will start on Monday, June 1st. That market will be every Monday and Friday from 10 to 4. Like I said, we talked to Island Beach State Park today. They gave us a thumbs up. So that's great news for down there. I expect the market to be pretty busy. It's a great time to get outside and get some fresh produce and stuff like that without being in the stores. Obviously, we will be practicing social distancing and asking everyone who attends our markets to wear face masks. So that's just to go along with what the state is asking. Third, we will be having 3 drive-in movie nights at Vets Park. I'm sure a lot of people saw this on Facebook through our township post. The first night for our first drive-in movie will be June 6th. There are 4 movies that are being voted for right now on our Facebook page, our Berkeley Township Facebook page. Those movies that you're voting for, I think it's Shrek, Hotel Transylvania, I lost track, Trolls. They're only for the June 6th movie. So once we get past June 6th, we'll have 4 more movies to put up on our Facebook page that you will be able to get to vote on to see for the next movie night. We're going to try to base the movies kind of like on age. So our first movie night, June 6th, will probably be geared towards the younger kids. Then our second movie will probably be geared more towards the lower teenage years. And our third movie will be more of the adult teenage type of movie. This way we try to hit all around all the areas. This way, if you don't want to come June 6th to see a younger movie, then you can wait for the other 2 movie nights. I think, Mayor Mott, if you want to add anything to that, can you please?
No, you said it well, Councilman Catania. We're excited about doing this. So once last Wednesday, the governor announced that drive-in movies or drive-in type movies, were available. We were the first town to jump on board because I know, I talked to a lot of people, emails, phone calls, text messages, Facebook posts. People are chomping at the bit to get out and do things with their family. They've all been, as I mentioned, our residents have been great. Everybody's been quarantining, social distancing. Our businesses have been great. I know the chief's on the phone. I know every day at the governor's press conference, the superintendent of state police gives an update on all the executive order violations. From what I understand, there's been no businesses or no citations that have been issued for EEO violations here in Berkeley. So everybody's been doing their part. So we wanted to go that extra mile and do some things nice to get more families out. It's obviously the first time we've ever done it, so it's going to be. Everybody has to be patient. It's a work in progress for the first one, and then once we get it down set, then it'll be just like our summer concert tutors, a well-oiled machine. Councilman Catania, if I may interject, right now, the governor has not made any determination on summer recreation programs. Over the next 2 weeks, he's going to come out with some guidance on whether he's going to allow it or not. So we're going to, right now we have our summer concert series tentatively booked, and we're going to hold the dates. We're not going to do anything until the governor comes out with some guidance. But in the event that the governor, is not going to be allowing that type of event or summer concert series, unfortunately, will have to be postponed. Our summer recreation program will have to be canceled as well, along with our Madison Park basketball program will have to be canceled. But that's all contingent upon the governor on what he does over the next couple weeks. We're holding tight. We haven't canceled anything yet, but we're going to, obviously we got to wait to see what the governor comes up with. Today, he came out with his plan on what he's going to be announcing over the next couple of weeks, and I'll get into that after Councilman Bacchione is done with the council roll call. But I just want to thank Councilman Catania for keeping up to date on everything that's been going on with our recreation department. I mean, the beach badge sales, I'm very, very pleased at the outstanding response that we've had with the beach badge sales. And if the council remembers, this year we extended the preseason. Normally the preseason sale ends around May 15th, but this year we extended it to past Memorial Day because we got a lot of feedback from our seasonal residents. They were like, hey, I usually don't come down to my seasonal house or my secondary house or my summer house until Labor Day weekend, and by that time, the seasonal badge sale is over. So we extended it so everybody had an opportunity to buy the seasonal badge rate, and we're very, very pleased thus far. And as Councilman Gadania says, I think we're going to not only meet, but we could exceed those limits. So, Councilman, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, Mayor. John, can I just add a couple more things?
Sure, go right ahead, Councilman.
I'm sorry, the four movies that we're voting for on June 6th were Hotel Transylvania, Madagascar, Shrek, and Trolls. Once the movie is chosen, we will have a Google form that you will be able to fill in to attend these movies. Obviously, it's going to be first come, first serve because we only have so much room. But that's where we're going to go for right now. And just like the mayor stated, this is a work in progress. We've never done this before. So please be patient. We're trying to give our community something to do to get out of the house and enjoy themselves a little. So all we're asking for is a little patience. Get out and enjoy the farmers market. Get out and buy some beach badges. Go to our beaches. I actually went with my kids on Friday and Saturday. The beaches were crowded, but everybody was at least 15 feet away from each other. And people that wanted to wear masks on the beach were wearing them. And everybody had a great day. Even some of the kids jumped in that 60-degree water. So it was a good day had by all. So that's it, Councilman Pacquiao. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Guadagno. Councilman Gross?
If I could implore Councilman Bergen to extend those farmers market hours slightly for those of us who don't get off work until 5, that would be nice, even by half an hour. And I wanted the public to know the grandparent scam is back bigger and better than ever. By that I mean a suspect will call an unsuspecting elderly resident and whisper into the phone it's a grandchild and that they're in jail and they need bail money. And that scam has been going on a while, but now we're seeing an actual suspect report to the victim's home and knock on the door and say, yeah, I'm here to collect their bail money. So, number one, obviously, don't ever give anyone money under those circumstances, as dubious as they are. And secondly, if people listening could heed this advice or pass along to others they know, if you do get such a phone call, please call immediately after that, call your grandchild in question, and 99 times out of 100, unless they're into nefarious things, they'll answer the phone and say, no, I'm fine. And of course, if you're able to get the phone number and pass it on to law enforcement, that gives us a lead to start with this. A lot of stuff was covered tonight. I think that's it. And stay safe and healthy, and thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Gross. Council President Bushiel.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Doing a great job in my place, John. I want to thank you for, taking the helm. So this has already been said, but I think it's worth mentioning again, just to thank all of our frontline first responders, police, fire, first aid for their work during the pandemic. As we all know by now, we've never seen this before. These are very trying times for many, and a very unprecedented time. So we want to thank all of our frontline first responders, as well as our doctors and nurses and the healthcare profession. And let's not also forget our employees in public works, our sanitation workers, and roads departments, and of course the tax office, people collecting the taxes. Everybody's been asked to step up. Everyone's been asked to step up and so I want to thank everyone, all of our employees and our public officials as well. We're all in this together, as everyone says, and it's, we're trying to do the right thing at the right time. And it's important in these next couple of weeks that we come out of this, we follow the governor's orders and come out of this, do the right thing. And in the long run, we'll protect ourselves and be better off. So thanks very much.
Thank you, President Bushiel. Mr. Mayor, any other comments before we move along to the discussion from engineer?
Yeah, thanks, John. Just real quick, I promise I'll be real brief. The governor at his press conference today handed out, put forth a PowerPoint presentation, the road back moving forward. And he has it allocated in 4 stages. Stage 1 which is restrictions relaxed on low-risk activities if appropriately safeguarded, which we're under right now, which is state and county parks open, non-essential construction, curbside retail, drive-in activities, beaches, and elective surgeries. Stage 2, right now we're in stage 1. He anticipates making a decision on moving to stage 2 within the next week, week and a half, and that would be additional activities permitted that can be easily safeguarded, expanded retail, outdoor dining, indoor dining at significantly reduced capacity, limited personal care, museums and libraries. And then after we're in stage 2, he anticipates the next week and a half to 2 weeks after he declares stage 2 to maybe 3 weeks into stage 3, and then which would be most activities allowed with significant safeguards, which would be expanded dining, critical and office work, limited entertainment, extended personal care, and bars with limited capacity. And then the 4th stage would be the new normal, which is economic and social activity back to normal with a new resilience. So he made that announcement today at his press conference that, we are flattening the curve and the numbers are trending in the right direction, but he wants to be cautious in reopening the state moving forward. So I thought that was good. At least we had some ballpark idea over the next, 2 to 4 weeks where we could potentially be, as long as everybody does what they're supposed to be doing, practicing social distancing, self-quarantining, washing your hands, and wearing masks. So I thought that was some good news. I know there was some discussion on the outdoor seating. Councilman Burns did touch on it. What we could do, because I think if this does happen within the next week and a half, 2 weeks, the governor does allow restaurants to have outdoor seating. I think we as a governing body need to do what we can to streamline the process so those restaurants that do want to have outdoor dining will not get caught up in some red tape or any bureaucratic tape. So I'm going to defer to Lauren on this. If there's a blanket resolution that the council can approve, obviously there are some safeguards that need to be put in place. I guess our construction department, as long as there's no construction or code enforcement or some type of double checking. But I think in following the line of what Councilman Burns said, and we need to do whatever we can to help our businesses, and if there's a way we can, give them the ability to outdoor seating, because that was on the governor's, action plan for, phase 2 of his opening, that he will allow outdoor restaurant seating. I want to do whatever we can. So I don't know if there's something that we can do, pass a resolution. I defer to Lauren on that. Is there anything that we can do to help speed up the process with restaurants?
The only thing that we could do, because the process itself should not take very long, and my concern is that if it doesn't follow the protocol that we have in place, then perhaps we're not catching all of the safety issues or addressing all the safety issues. One thing we can do is just adopt a resolution to authorize the issuance of the permit if it meets all of the criteria. The problem is that the governing body will not be given the opportunity to review it that final time. What you're doing is just approving, as long as all the other, departments within the municipality are okay with it, then you're basically relying on them, and won't be given the opportunity to really ask any questions beforehand.
Is there a way we can put in that ordinance, like you said, if they meet the criteria, and then have a council committee along with the member of administration review to make sure it meets the intent of the resolution, so we can grant approval? You know what I mean, Lauren? Like, we can grant blanket approval with the setup of the committee and administration, that if somebody wants to have outdoor seating, and they meet all the regulatory approval, then it goes to the final step, goes to the council committee and administration for the final sign off. This way, they don't have to wait a month to month for council meetings. Does that sound
Right.
something we could do?
Yes, it's something that you can do. I mean, it would be, again, it's a resolution because we'd be couching it or putting it under the terms of, general approval for the permit applications received, assuming they meet this criteria and these steps are followed, as opposed to doing an ordinance where they would have to do 2 readings and have to wait.
Okay, I mean, and that's my recommendation to the council. That's my recommendation to the council with the consultation and the verbiage from our township attorney. If that's something the council would consider, you have the floor. If not, then I'll just continue.
Let me, through the chair, through the mayor, you want us to do the resolution so he could do it immediately? Is that what we're trying to get at for bum garages and to not what we did the motion on before?
Through the chair, if I can ask from what, again, could have it wrong, I thought on the mayor's suggestion and question that Lauren said perhaps the governing body could do a resolution that would allow for administration to do an approval of outdoor seating requests without bringing it back to the governing body as a temporary solution to this. Was that the suggestion, Lauren?
Yes, with one other step is that they would apply through the township like the normal course of business. All of our departments would weigh in to make sure all the regulatory issues were met, and then the final step would go to a council committee of 3 members for the council and a member of administration or the mayor for the final approval. This way, they wouldn't have to wait for council meetings. They could do it like just say, dinosaur or a restaurant wants to put outdoor seating, they would file an immediate application with Beverly and be signed off by all our departments, and within 48 hours, they have all their approvals. They're ready to go. Then would go to the council committee and the administration for the final quick look to make sure it would meet the intent of the law, and then by get the approval, and then they can open up right away. Otherwise, they would have to wait a month to the next council meeting. So I'm just trying to speed the process up a little bit with keeping the regulatory safeguards in there as well.
We now have in place a special events permit that goes through the different departments that has to go to the administrator for approval and does not have to go to council. That's for a special event. So this would be, in my eyes, the same thing, a special event. You're only allowing it temporary. It's not a permanent thing. Is that...
My question, Beverly, is does that cover all of the insurance requirements that are under the sidewalk cafe and the fees and so forth?
They do have to supply the insurance certificate and that information, and they give us a drawing of exactly where they're setting up. We have a application right now for the temporary fireworks sales, and that goes through the different departments, has to be approved, and then John makes a final approval on that. I would think this would fall under the same thing.
I think we could do the framework similar to that, but I still don't know if I would feel comfortable with it being. I don't want to go down that road where we're calling it this 1 minute and then switching it up after the fact, after the pandemic is no longer an issue. So I think what we need to do is what the mayor had suggested, to keep it under that umbrella rather than switching it to a different type of event.
Do we need to do another resolution?
We could do a drop into if there's a motion made to and it carries to have it included on the next agenda. It could be a drop in at the next agenda at the next meeting. The regular meeting following this.
On the official is what she's saying.
Right.
if you make a motion now, we can drop in a resolution to be on our official tonight.
I will make that motion so it can be on the next meeting under the mayor's recommendation.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to accept the mayor's recommendation. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we got a second from Councilman Guadagno.
Yeah, I have a question.
Question,
That's
Councilman
going
Burns?
on tonight's agenda, right? Not
This
It's
is
being
next
in.
meeting.
That's correct, yeah,
Okay.
tonight. It'll be on the official. So we need a roll call?
Yes. Councilman Bacchione?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gingrich? Councilwoman Gingrich?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noonan?
Yes.
Councilman Guadagno?
Yes.
Councilman Gross?
Yes.
Council President Brusio?
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries. Okay. Item number 6. Discussion by the township engineer.
You said
Hi, everybody. It's Pam Hilla with Remington Vernick Engineers. I'm here on behalf of Alan Dittenhofer. Can everybody hear me okay?
We can hear you fine,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay, great. I'm here to report on item 6. So item 6A is for authorizing a change order to a contract with Earl Asphalt Company for the 2019 NJDOT Municipal Aid Jamaica Boulevard Phase 3 Road Reconstruction Project. Based off the increased quantities of asphalt and concrete, there is an increase to the contract of $49,341.94. This is on the official item 8.15. Item 6B is for authorization. I'm sorry. Was there a question?
No, go ahead, continue.
Okay, thank you. Item 6B is for the authorization to advertise and receive bids for the following capital projects. B1 is 2020 NJ DOT reconstruction of Fort de France on the official item 8.16. B2, the reconstruction of Keith Avenue and McKinley Avenue on the official item 8.17. Item B3, reconstruction of Guadalajara Avenue on the official item 8. And 6B4, 2020 various drainage projects, the official item 8.19.
Okay. Do we have any questions? Any council people have any questions for the engineer? Hearing none? Okay. Thank you, Ann. Okay, item number 7, discussion by township clerk.
Item 7A is person-to-person ABC license transfer. This is, the ABC is doing the background investigation for this liquor license transfer due to a conflict of interest by our police department, as one of the applicants is a former police officer and one is an officer. The ABC has requested that the issuing authority, the Township Council, adopt a resolution putting forth that it has no objection to the transfer of the license in order for them to complete their background check. And this is on the official item 8.20. And that's it.
Okay. Any questions? All right. Before we open the meeting for public comments, we ask everyone to be patient. Please say your first name and last name for us to identify you as the person speaking. Also, your address, please. When I recognize you as the next person to comment, I will say your name and ask you to state your full name and address for the record. So I have a list of people who have told us they want to speak. And the first person is Pat Collier.
Yes, my name is Pat Colleen.
Colleen.
My address is 22 Cambridge Court. I'd like to follow up a little about what Judy Noonan and Mayor Armato was talking about as far as the nursing home situation. I do have a niece in Crystal Lake. She is young, but she has some mental problems, so that is why she lives at this facility. She just located there in January. When I went to visit her, I was actually really, I don't know if anybody on this council has been to that facility, but the outside of the facility is horrendous. The inside is a lot better. The people are very nice that I've dealt with, so this is not a complaint at all. I thank the council, all the first responders, and certainly the people that are working in Crystal Lake Nursing Facility. However, to quote the mayor, for the long care facilities, there are 210 active cases. Now, Crystal Lake has 96 of those cases. So that's 46% of the long-term care active cases. The mayor also quoted 32 deaths in the long-term care facilities. Crystal Lake, the last time I looked at the governor's numbers, had 25 of those deaths, which is 78% of the long-term care facility deaths. Now, I realize that, this all came upon us and took everyone by surprise, but now we know what this virus can do. My niece's roommate did have the virus at one time. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you clearly. Continue.
Okay, my niece's roommate did have the virus. They took her out of the room. I assume she did the 14-day quarantine and then was brought back to the room. What I don't know and what I can't seem to find out is if they're testing the patients in there and the residents and the people that live there and the staff. I don't, and when they do test them and they become active, what happens, or if they are active, what happens after that? So with these percentages, I'm very concerned. I don't know whether it's an Ocean County problem, whether it's Berkeley, or whether it's a state problem. But if someone could please look into it, because their death rate, 46% of the long-term care, I don't know how many long-term care facilities there are, but that seems like, I'm sorry, 78% of the death rate is coming out of Crystal Lake Nursing Home. So that has, I'm very concerned. I appreciate everything every first responder and every person is doing in the wake of this virus. But I am concerned, and I would like someone to look into what's going on at that nursing home. Because the
ma'am, I'm sorry. This is Lawrence Baker. I'm the township attorney. I think that everybody in the township they are aware of the situation. They are aware that there are questions. There is certain protocol, obviously, in dealing with these situations, and the town is trying to share information the way that they're supposed to through the state. It is a private facility, so there's only so much information that the township has, but they are aware of the concern, and they are trying to share information with the state, who would have more jurisdiction over things like this. They are trying to follow up with it, and hopefully you can get an answer within, a short period of time. But unfortunately, the township does not have that answer right now.
Can you tell me, and I know I shouldn't worry about this now, but my niece is new to this facility. Who is responsible? I mean, are our code people responsible to go there and to look at this facility, look at the surroundings of this facility, and inspect this facility, or is that a state jurisdiction or county?
Well,
It's different depending on. When you're looking at, and John, you may want to step in as far as the types of reviews the township has. But as far as building codes and so forth, yes, the town steps in there. There are other parts of this as far as the state licensing, Board of Health issues, things of that nature that they're not within the township's jurisdiction.
I mean, there are so many things. Just walking up to the door, concrete, and it seems like it's just falling apart from the outside. The inside is a little better for the residents, but the outside is really, someone needs to take a look at that. And my concern, a 78% death rate for long-term care facilities is in that one facility. Someone really needs to reach out. I just don't know who to reach out to to find out what the protocols are.
Miss Colleen?
I don't know. I asked my niece, has she been tested? She doesn't think so.
That's what I'm going to tell you.
So I just really don't know what the protocols are. Are they testing the residents? Are they testing the staff? I don't know.
Miss Colleen, I think probably the best avenue to go down is the Ocean County Health Department. We can contact them. You can also contact them and vent your concerns about it. We can also do the same. They'll send inspectors in to confirm everything you're saying and cite whatever they have to do to fix the situation. So we hope it gets better. But you made a good point, and we appreciate you being on the call tonight. We just have to get to the other callers if you're finished with the comments.
I am, and if you could check in with Ocean County Health Department, I would appreciate it.
I'm sure the administrator will take care of that in the morning. But thank you again for being on this call.
Very much. Thank you guys for all you're doing for this community.
Yeah. All right.
Especially Woman Noonan.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Next callers, and I apologize, I don't have your last names. Thomas and Doris?
Yes, Thomas Crosser, 214 Cottage Drive, Bayville. We're trying to find out some information if the council has any information or any more involvement in the illegal New Jersey Outport Boatyard on Route 9. Every day, the facility becomes more and more of a safety issue and an environmental issue. From day one, Mr. Camera authorized the illegal continued use of the property to move and store boats. Now, they are working on boats and they are painting boats. There is now a trash field on the property with paint cans spewing throughout the property. There's oil throughout the property. There's water standing on the property. And every day, it's just getting worse and worse. And we don't know where to go now. We wanted to know if you guys have any more involvement on this matter and how we can try to cease and desist the use of the property because, again, it's becoming a safety and an environmental issue every day.
Mr. Cameron, any comments?
Sure, through the chair. This is John Camera, and we were on a conference call. I don't know if you were on it just last week with our code prosecutor as well as the code enforcement officer, as well as your attorney, Terry Brady, and a few of the residents involved. And not to recap everything for everyone, but the township has and is continuing to move forward with enforcement over there, and we went through some of that, and bottom line, they're getting scheduled, I think, for a firm trial date in June to enforce the issue. My understanding is at this point, they've taken all the boats off of the racks, but that the operation, which you're right, has never been authorized and is not allowed use on that property. The enforcement to get them to stop that is going to have to be done through some kind of court order, and they've got to get them in front of a judge for that. Long story short, when they initially wrote summonses for the operations back there, they got their attorney and they came to court, and as is typical with those kind of situations, there was not continuous tickets issued under the premise that they were going to go in front of the Board of Adjustment to get some kind of approval or denial, but to make application. They have not done that. There were some letters back and forth between the attorneys, and based on what we found out after that call, as I said, they are going to issue additional summonses and get them in court. Hopefully, it might have been June 24th. I forget the first available court date that Ms. Vicari mentioned on the call. But our attorney and our code enforcement people are working on it, and that's the way it's going to be rectified.
Even though they're painting boats and now they're just adding more toxicity to the property.
Yep.
I mean, they're painting boats like crazy every day.
The fact that
construction is still going on there.
Yep. The fact that they continue to Go ahead. The fact that they continue to operate back there can only be addressed right now with us by issuing summonses and getting in front of a judge to either get an injunction. I don't know if I have the right terminology, but a judge. We cannot have our police or code people go back there and physically stop them from operating. We can only do the summonses to get them in front of a judge or make some kind of application to a judge, which our attorney is working on. But I get your frustration, but it's not and it's not that we don't realize that they're still utilizing the property, and the fact that they are utilizing it does not mean they get grandfathered in or anything, or give them any right to the use of that property once they finally go in front of a board. But we cannot and do not just send our police officers to physically stop them from working.
But once again, we were informed that he no longer has an attorney. And again, with our conversation last week, that he has decided to take a different avenue on his project. So he's pretty much cut ties with everything is what he's done now. So now it's time to cease and desist because he doesn't know what he's doing. Nobody knows what he's doing, but he's operating an illegal facility. So something has to be done immediately.
Okay, Mr. Prosser, your comments are duly noted, and I'm sure our attorney will be working on it in the morning, and Mr. Cameron will continue doing whatever he can do legally from the town's standpoint to stop this illegal activity. But I appreciate you bringing this to our attention. Thank you.
Thank you.
Doris, were you part of that, or did you have any comments?
Yes, I was on there.
Okay, then.
I agree with everything Mr. Prosser said.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thanks, guys, for being on the call. Next person.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next person is Bob Sankowski. Hope I said that right.
That was close. It's Bill Yankowski. I'm on 14 Browning Ave in Bayville.
Okay.
How you doing, everybody?
Good, thanks.
Good. Hey, I'm calling it in reference to what you call the New Jersey outboard thing over there too. I'm on Browning Ave, down the street from everybody who had their land decimated down the end of the street. Mm-hmm. My biggest concern, of course, is the safety issue down there. I have a email from John that the township is continuing to, use whatever means that we have to improve the situation, including addressing the safety, environmental, and quality of life issues, which we're all concerned with. But the safety issue, it's not being addressed at all. What you call it? That's a terrible statement there. What's it going to take? Some person, kid, or whatever being hurt or maybe killed on these structures? They got to come down. You got to shut their operation down. Those things have to be removed. They're a danger to everyone. Right? And as far as what you call it, the township, saying that, hey, it's all right. We can pursue what you call New Jersey outboards at our behest. What you call it? That's baloney as far as I'm concerned. I think it's a township. I know you guys are trying to do what you're doing, but something ain't working out here. I mean, this guy just did what he felt like. He put up these illegal structures, and he continues to use everything down there and work. And then what you go, one sec. And then you go, well, one other thing, he can apply for permits to keep these structures. That's ridiculous. He never got any approvals. Didn't go through permits and inspections. I mean, that's ludicrous. I'm fed up with the whole thing here. This is baloney as far as I'm concerned. This is just dragging on and on and on. Safety issue is not addressed whatsoever. You got to do something with these guys, and you got to shut them down. You got to either shut them down or have them take those structures down. They got to go right now. That's my.
Okay.
Thank you for listening.
Through the chair.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Joe.
As Councilman Bacchione said, I will be on the phone with Ms. Vicari tomorrow morning. The attorney who's handling it will get it done, whatever we can get done. But I wanted to so I agree with everything you're saying, except I don't know that I heard it correctly. I want to make sure the fact that is able to apply to a board, to whether it's to keep those structures there, to put up additional structures, to operate business back there. Anybody has a right to apply for that. But the fact that it's already there, what I meant was, does not give him any grandfathering in. So certainly it's not ludicrous that he can apply. People can apply for whatever they want. And that's the way it should have happened in the first place. And just because those structures are there now, that gives him no entitlement to it. If he ultimately goes in front of a board to try and get any kind of thing approved back there, even if it was just site plan approval, but in this case they need variances and other things, that's when the public would have their input and nothing would get done. But I agree, and in the meanwhile, we will get our attorney to see whatever action she can take to get something in front of a judge.
Pardon me. The safety issue is the main thing here.
Yep.
It's dangerous, what you call it. Kids or anybody, they're all at school, kids play and what you call it. Doesn't matter what you can get hurt back there. These are dangerous structures. That's got to be dealt with right away. It can't just wait around for a court date and all that stuff like that. Every day is a danger. Nice to it.
We will definitely see what action she feels like we can do immediately to get in front of a judge and get some kind of ability to, like I said, to make it safe, whether it's take it down or fencing in or doing whatever. But I'll have to have the attorney handle that.
Yeah, agree.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention and being on the call tonight. We have one more person, and I'm sorry I don't have your name. You represent JCP&L?
My name is Ron Crocker, and I'm with JCP&L. And I just wanted to let the mayor and council know that during this pandemic, that JCP&L will not be disconnecting any residents' power due to non-payment.
Okay.
We will also not be coming into any resident's house that may have their meter in the garage or in the basement of their home, just so we can keep our safe distance and practice good social distancing. Our line crews and our meter readers are still continuing to work every day. We're reporting to remote locations so we can have safe work practices. But the main message I wanted to get across is that during the pandemic, we will not be cutting anybody's power. If you want to write down the number of 800-662-3115, anybody can call there to let the company know that I am having problems paying my bill can you put me on a budget plan, or can you suggest any outside service that may be able to pay for customers' bills? That's all I have.
Okay, thank you,
May
Mr.
I
Crockett.
through the chair?
Councilwoman Noonan?
Ron, this is Councilman Noonan. I want to thank you for all that your help that you gave us and helped me a lot. I just want to say you do a very good job.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Anytime you need anything, just give me a call. I talked with the mayor this morning trying to resolve a streetlight issue, and we got it taken care of the same day.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Ron. I want to express the same sentiments as Councilwoman Noonan. Appreciate all your efforts and on behalf of the township. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I had.
Okay. Is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak that didn't announce themselves in the beginning of this call?
Yes. Hello. My name is Ray Lips. I'm at 928 Main Street in Bayville, in the Holly Park section. I believe some other residents might be on the call as well. We just wanted to, first of all, express thanks to the council members and especially Councilman Tim Burns for his attention to the water problems that we do have at the end of the street. The new bulkhead looks great, and but our concerns continue to be around the beach and the bulkhead. The bulkhead does need some kind of signs and signage at the end of the streets. Parking is an issue. Sleeping there is an issue. Drug use, alcohol is an issue. And then additionally on the beach, due to the lack of bulkhead that we've been waiting since Sandy for, it floods all the way into our driveway, even after the repairs were made, even after the sewer grate was put in, which fills up with even at high tide. And additionally, the beach is a horrible issue as well.
Okay.
Through the chair.
Burns? Councilman Burns will address it.
At first, that beach was going to be a powerboat ramp, and that was different permits. And then, as you know, we changed that to a non-power boat, which the permits are easy to obtain. All the paperwork's done, and it's just waiting on the state. And if you heard me earlier, I was asking that we need to check what ordinances that we have alive that'll say no parking, sitting, eating, or whatever. So, as you know, Ray, we keep fighting the battle here.
And then the additional concern is of the beach. There's lots of open metal and open fencing and deteriorated from the previous bulkhead. It almost needs to be fenced to not allow people there because it's just so damaging. I'm just concerned somebody's going to drastically hurt themselves on any of the open wire and the open fencing and old rusty metal that's all existing on the beach at this point in time.
Okay, we can have is someone else speaking in the background? Okay, whoever's speaking, we couldn't understand what you were saying, but we'll ask the administration to address that with Public Works and make sure that there isn't any dangerous items that can hurt someone if they walked into something like metal or whatever. Is anyone else on the line that would like to speak?
Yes. Good evening. My name's Vince Sedano. I live on 930 Main Street, right at the end of the street by the new bulkhead that was just put in. And I, too, would like to thank Jim Burns for, putting a lot of effort into getting the end of this street in good shape. It used to be a swimming pool. Now it's got great drainage, and the end of the street bulkhead is beautiful. The biggest problem with it, however, is it's so beautiful that it seems to be attracting people that want to walk over onto that riprap, which is very dangerous to walk on. And I've literally watched in the last 2 or 3 days 15 people go over the railing at the end that was put on and try to navigate to get up to the end of the bulkhead to go fishing. I almost watched an elderly guy just break his leg, a couple young girls up there taking selfies, people leaning on my fence, which is up against the bulkhead, peering into my yard. I think that's why we really, really need some kind of signage so they won't just think that they can do that because it's so inviting. In addition, since they've extended the bulkhead area, cars come up this street. I see now why they call it Main Street, because there's a lot of cars that come to the end of the street and they hang at the end of the street. They park there, and now they're parked in front of my driveway. I literally have to ask people to move their cars so I can get out of my driveway, and they'll pull back, I'll go out, and then they'll pull right back up to the end of the street. So I really request that we get some signage, and, we don't want to keep calling the police if we call the police every time somebody came up here, we might as well just position a cop at the end of the street because it's that busy here. I know this used to be a very popular area to come up and hang out. We built a home here now, and it's more residential. My neighbor Ray also built a new home, so having cars just sitting in front of our home with their cars running, it's really kind of you get an uneasy feeling because you really don't know who's in these cars.
Mm-hmm.
We literally watched a drug deal go down 2 days ago. I mean, for me to call the cops, by the time the cops get here, these guys are gone, and I don't want to, get them aggravated. So that's really all I have to say. I just hope that you guys can get us some signage at least, and maybe a little more patrol from time to time. And that's it. I just don't want to see anybody get hurt on those rocks because they're dangerous.
Okay. You make some good points, and we appreciate your input and being on this call this evening. And I know John Camera is taking notes, and he will be on top of this issue. Hopefully we'll see an improvement by our next council meeting. Okay. Is there anyone else on this call before we close the public portion? Hearing no one, I ask for a motion to close the public portion. Motion by Judy, second by Jim Burns. Roll call? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Okay.
We'll now go into the official meeting. This is the official meeting of May 18th, 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, pursuant to the applicable portions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law, adequate notice of this meeting has been given. This meeting is posted on the bulletin board located in the corridor of this building and published in the newspaper on November 22nd, 2019. The teleconference information, along with the information on how to participate in the teleconference, was transmitted to the newspapers and posted on the Township website on May 13th, 2020. Roll call. Councilman Bacchione.
Here.
Councilwoman Gingrich.
Here.
Councilman Burns.
Here.
Councilwoman Noonan.
Here.
Councilman Godano.
Here.
Councilman Gross.
Here.
Council President Bushio.
Here.
Okay.
Madam Clerk, let the record reflect that I am here as well. Thank you.
That's the mayor.
I got you.
All right. Item number 3, approval of the official minutes for April 27, 2020 and May 8, 2020.
Make a motion.
Motion by Judy, second by Jimmy. Roll call.
Councilman Bacchione.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gingrich.
Yes.
Councilman Burns.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noonan.
Yes.
Councilman Godano. Councilman Gross.
Yeah.
Council President Bushio. Council President Bushio?
Did we lose? Oh,
Okay.
okay. Yeah. Item number 4, approval of the monthly reports from clerk, code, collector, construction, court, fire, DPW, and,
It's just DPW overtime.
oh, I thought there was a new department. Okay.
No, it's their overtime
Okay.
report.
Need a motion?
Motion.
Motion to approve, second. Second by Jim Burns.
Question on the motion.
Question on the motion?
For the second meeting in a row, the reports have been incomplete. So I just talked to the administrator, and he's going to check on that. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, Councilman Burns. Roll call?
Councilman Becchione?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gingrich?
Yes.
Councilman Burns?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noonan?
Yes.
Councilman Godano?
Yes.
Councilman Gross?
Yes.
Council President Bushio?
Yes.
Okay, item number 5, resolution 20-196-R, bills and payroll.
Make a motion for bills and payroll.
Judy makes a motion to approve, second by Jim Burns. Roll call?
Councilman Becchione?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gingrich?
Yes.
Councilman Burns?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noonan?
Yes.
Councilman Godano?
Yes.
Councilman Gross?
Yes.
Council President Bushio?
Yes.
Okay, item number 6 is a public hearing ordinance, 20-22-OA, an ordinance of the Township of Berkeley, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing the vacation of an existing 20 feet fire lane easement on block 1559, lot 17, 234 Dogwood Drive. Anyone from the public wish to make comments?
Motion.
Seeing none, motion to close public portion and adopt. Judy Noonan, second.
Second.
Second by Jim Burns. Roll call?
Councilman Becchione?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gingrich?
Yes.
Councilman Burns?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noonan?
Yes.
Councilman Godano?
Yes.
Councilman Gross? Council President Bushio?
Yes.
Item number 7 is a public hearing ordinance 20-23-OA, an ordinance of the Township of Berkeley, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, amending the Township Code so as to amend Section 35-91.3 entitled Prohibited Signs. Open for public comments.
Motion to close and adopt.
Motion to close and adopt by Judy Noonan,
Second.
seconded by Jim Burns. Roll call?
Councilman Becchione?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gingrich?
Yes.
Councilman Burns?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noonan?
Yes.
Councilman Godano?
Yes.
Councilman Gross?
Yes.
Council President Bushio?
Yes.
Item number 8 is Resolution 20-197-R. It's our consent agenda. From item 1, Resolution 20-198-R to Resolution 20-217-R. I ask for a motion.
Make that motion.
Second.
Motion, is that a motion to approve? Seconded by Jim Burns. Roll call?
Councilman Becchione?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gingrich?
Yes.
Councilman Burns?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noonan?
Yes.
Councilman Godano?
Yes.
Councilman Gross?
Yes.
Council President Bushio?
Yes.
Okay, item number 21 is a new resolution. Lauren Stager, do you wish to comment?
Yes, so the add-on item is resolution number 20-218R, authorizing a temporary expedited review and approval process for outside cafe permit applications.
I make the motion.
Motion to approve by Judy Noonan, second.
Second.
Seconded by Jim Burns. Roll call?
Councilman Becchione?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gingrich?
Yes.
Councilman Burns?
Yes.
Councilwoman Noonan?
Yes.
Councilman Godano?
Yes.
Councilman Gross? Council President Bushio?
Yes.
Lauren, was that the last of the add-ons?
Yes, that's the last add-on I have.
Okay. Then we need a motion to
Motion to close.
close. Judy Noonan, excited about it? Yes. Second, please.
And adjourn?
Second.
Seconded by Jim Burns.
Adjourn.
And adjourn the meeting. Roll call?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.